Most big companies still have an innovation team somewhere within inside of their organization. That's a lab, it's a department, it's some poor soul with the word innovation, whatever that truly means, on their LinkedIn. And I reckon that the whole idea of having an innovation team or an innovation lab could look a little bit as out of touch as having a digital department looks now, whereas 10, 15 years ago, you were on point. So why do they exist? Innovation became a department for one simple reason. It was functionalized because building stuff was hard. It was slow, it was expensive, and it needed specialists from validation through to build through to execution. So companies did the logical thing. They stuck everybody in one room with one team, with one budget and said, go and own everything that's new. Go and knock it out of the park. Really, really show us what's coming. And I guess that's fine in principle when the building is the hard bit. You concentrate on people who can actually build. But there's always been a bit of a problem with that since the inception of it. And is it that the people in that room, they almost never know what is actually the biggest problem. They're never closest to those actual problems. The problems out in the business, on the floor, are within the teams that are drowning in something that nobody upstairs or nobody in that innovation team can actually see. So how does it ever get really, really surfaced? So I've been thinking about something where this could actually turn. And how could you run compression through it? Because building isn't any longer the hard piece. Anyone who's close to a problem can stand something up really fast and really, really effectively. So the cost of actually just trying an idea has fallen completely through the floor. So I think there's a bit of an obvious question. If building is no longer the bottleneck, why does innovation still live within inside of that one particular room, gated by the people who are potentially the furthest from the problem when it doesn't need to and it's not going to? So let's take a look at BBVA, and this isn't me theorising. A massive bank has already done half of it. So BBVA gave every single employee access to AI. Over half of them are using it every week. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, but how effectively are they using it? What's their spend like? What's the return? And that's absolutely fair. But they didn't hand the ideas of what they needed to do or what they wanted to do at a functional level to a central team. They pushed it out to the people who actually understand the work. And then they wrapped it with proper governance. So nothing touches core systems without a human signing it off. The Harvard Business Review just called them the benchmark for how to do this. So they decentralized it. Half of it proven at scale in one of the most regulated industries in the planet. I think that is supremely interesting. So then comes to the heart of it. And I think this is where it gets good because I don't think anybody has really cracked this yet. Because decentralizing innovation, which I am proposing, I would presume, if you say that you can't have a true department as we have, would just give chaos. There'd be thousands of experiments, most of them not joined up, people not talking to each other, cool little demos and products, built out there with no true correlation to each other. And it just can't be a free-for-all. So what does it become? What's the thin layer of structure that lets anyone build without the whole thing collapsing into just noise? What are the rails that need to be put around it without being too restrictive whilst also being slightly decentralized? And of course, a question for any respected CEO or CFO, which kills most of actually this stuff along, is how do you get return on the investment? How can this raise the top line? How can this reduce the bottom line? That is crucial that you view any innovation and product development through a commercial lens. Because we don't want to be sitting there 18 months, down the road having funded 100 things that have gone nowhere and we haven't moved either of those dials. That would be that would be the real failure. Because I don't think people have ever failed to be creative with their ideas. But if you don't put it through a commercial lens, you don't think about how you can commercialize the products you're doing, whether that is AI, kind of transformation or whether that's innovative tech product. So here's what I think is actually going to go on. And I'm making up a new word here because who doesn't love making up a new word? I think corporate innovation is about to defunctionalize. I think it's going to stop being a place that you go and it's going to be something that everybody does within a set of guardrails or structure that enables people to really be close to the problem, activate against that problem, build something that really moves the needle for them if that's internally against the bottom line, or potentially moves something in the top line once it's gone through a series of validation stage gates about whether this is commercially viable. Now, I've got a really deep view on what I think defunctionalization means and how it could be structured, but I'm going to hold that for another video because we're probably ticking into many minutes now. But thank you for listening and look out for the next one on defunctionalization.